and welcome to the Today Show. My name is Anya Kaur from Raffles World Academy, and today we are with Mr. Tarandeep Singh, an immigrant from India, and my father. And today I'm going to be interviewing him on his migration journey. Hello, Papa, and how was your day today? Welcome to the Today Show.
Thank you, Anya. It was a great day today, but I'm definitely looking forward to this chat with you on migration.
Okay, so then my first question is, where and when were you born? Does it have some history behind it?
Oh yes, there is definitely history behind it, a great story behind it. I was definitely born in 1977 in a place called Haridwar in India. It's up there in the north of India. But why I was born there definitely has a story behind it, right? The story is my parents, or my father and my mother, your grandparents obviously. So my father moved in, my father actually was born in Pakistan, or the undivided India, in 1944. And after partition, they moved into a place called Karnal, which is again in North India. They settled in over there. My father then went to Lucknow to do his higher education. He went to Paris as well. And then he came in and settled in Haridwar, where he started his job. And that's where he got married to your grandmother, and that's where I was finally born. So that was my migration journey, which started in 1977, but much earlier, because all the migration that my parents were doing besides that.
That is quite an interesting story.
Thank you.
So when did you first leave Haridwar and why?
So I left Haridwar the first time in terms of migration. I left it in 1995. That was the time when I stepped out of my house to do my graduation. So, you know, there were not plenty of great colleges around in Haridwar, and that was one of the reasons that I decided to leave Haridwar and move out. And, you know, I went to a hotel school to do my hotel management. So that was the first time I left Haridwar. I actually did my graduation in Bhopal, which is like almost around 750 kilometers from Delhi, in the central of India. It's a capital city of a state in central India. So that's where I migrated for the first time for 3 years.
Nice. And then what happened thereafter? Which city did you go to next and why?
Well, after graduation in 1998, I got my first job in the financial capital of India, which is Mumbai. It was called Bombay at that time. So I started my first job there. Was in Mumbai for the first 3 years of my career. And then I was changing jobs initially, and then I moved back to New Delhi actually. Came in and worked in Delhi for 6 months. Then I went to Kolkata on the east side of the India, spent there 6 months before I again came back to Delhi. And then I would say I kind of made my home at Delhi. You know, that's where I was settled. By that time, somewhere in between, the parents also left Haridwar and they moved into Delhi to stay with me and my sister, who was also kind of, you know, gone the same journey. And we were all then kind of getting settled in Delhi at that time. So that was how the whole initial migration was coming up.
Yeah, so Delhi was now your new home.
Delhi was, yeah, you can definitely call it as Delhi as our new home. And that's exactly, if you remember, that was the place where me and your mom got married.
Yes.
And that's where our little angel, Anya Kaur, was born on 13th April.
Yes, correct.
2009.
So my next question is, what was the most difficult part about leaving?
So Anya, I think the most difficult part about leaving is leaving your friends and family behind, right? I mean, when you're migrating from a place, it's very difficult to take along everybody else along with you, because everybody has their own personal life going on. So leaving friends and family behind becomes a bit tricky, and the most difficult part, you know, in the Indian context, there are so many festivals and occasions you want to spend and celebrate the good times with them. And you kind of miss out on all the festivities when you see, you know, connect with the people on FaceTime, and see people celebrating Diwali and Holi and all the festivals, it kind of, makes you sad. But also the same side, sometimes there are bad times or not so good times as well, right? There are times when people might be sick back home, and as a son, I might want to, just be there for my family, but you can't because you're far away from your home. So that I think is the most difficult part. And as I said, friends is the other side of the picture. You're born and brought up with so many friends, memories. I've spent some good times with my college time friends who were also settled in Delhi. So you know them for a long time. You know their families, we all got married during the same time. Our kids are all of the same age. So yeah, sometimes I miss that part as well. So that's the difficult time.
So when was the first time you moved to a new country and how was it like?
So the first time, Anya, we moved countries was in 2014 when we moved to a country called Singapore. And what was it like initially? I would say it was exciting, right? I mean, we moved cities, but this was the first time we were moving a country. It was exciting, it was challenging, it was happy and sad moments, right? Again, so the same question you asked, because you left your friends and family behind, and not just behind in a different city, you left your friends and family so far off in a different time zone. So I think, it was sometimes happy, sometimes sad, but very, very exciting times.
That's nice to hear. Can you share your early memories of this move to Singapore?
Sure. As I said, it was very exciting times and challenging as well. Exciting because you go into a new place, new country, you have to adapt to a new culture, which you can only do if you learn around the new culture. You meet new people, you go out, you explore. Our initial days were all about finding the right school for you. Once the school was shortlisted, then we tried to make sure that the house is near the school so that you don't have to travel too much in the bus. So I think the first one odd month was all about getting the logistics right, getting the infrastructure ready. And I was obviously, in the meantime getting, ready for my new job as such. So it was also settling down in the office space and settling your house as well. You remember your mother was also kind of helping you initially. You're moving to a new school, you had your own challenges, new language, new set of homework, new friends. She was getting used to the fact around where to buy grocery from, what do you need to do to clean the house, where do you need to go for buying XYZ things that you want to do, curtains or anything that you want to kind of do. You have to depend on people. You have to either search on Google and things like that. So I think initial days were all about finding answers to lots and lots of questions, and just keep getting answers, talk to a lot of people. We made new friends, and your mom and we are also very lucky because we still have a lot of friends back in Singapore. So we made new friends as well. So it was all very fast-paced, exciting time. Things were changing so fast that we didn't really get time to kind of think around it at that time. But now when you ask this question, all the good, nice memories and crazy memories, they're just coming back in my mind right now.
So could you name a few?
Sure. Your first school function, annual function, where you remember you got selected and you were a princess over there. Great memory. I still look at some of those videos. It's so great. You learning to roller skate for the first time. You and me both learning swimming together. You, me and Mama going to Sentosa for all the fun and excitement.
Great water park.
Great water park. Going to East Coast Park every now and then to have those nice meals and run in the evening. and then you learning cycling without your support wheels, remember? Uh, yeah, there have been so many exciting memories, and when we look back at all of that today, um, it's really great. And especially because you were in Singapore, we could go out to places like Bali, Bangkok, and Phuket, and Pattaya, Hong Kong. We've done so many holiday trips when we were in Singapore.
Yeah, lots of islands.
Lots of islands over there, and any weekend, any long weekend, we can just take a flight and go to a nearby country.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are so many exciting memories of our 3.5 years in Singapore.
That's quite nice to hear.
Yes.
Migration can be hard. Where do you find strength in difficult times?
Well, Anya, I think as parents, we find strength in our daughter, right? We were trying to find strength in you. Every time we will be going through that hard time, and we will come and see you smiling and enjoying your evening with your friends. That used to give us a lot of strength. And the confidence that I think the decision that we've taken to move from India to Singapore was a good move, looking at your progress at school. So I think that was one good part of it. And obviously, you find strength in people around you, the friends which are around you. Family is far off, but yes, you connect to them, you talk to them often, so you find strength in that. You find strength in God, always remember. So we used to go a lot of times to the Sikh temple over there, to the Gurdwara. So we used to find strength in meditation, in just being connected to the God. That was your initial years when you started learning a lot about your religion, your mother tongue. So I think that's where we try and find strength. But most importantly, as a family, I think you, me, and your mother, we have to find, and we did find strength in each other. You were our support system, I was your mother's support system, and when I was feeling low, both your mom and yourself were my support system. So I think it's the family which binds us all together.
Indeed. So how do you think migration has changed you?
Anya, I think it's changed me from the fact that it's made me more agile. It's given me more strength and experience now that we've done a couple of country shifts, and I have personally done a lot of changing the cities in my life. So the more experience you have, better it is for you. And I think somewhere I'm not scared for a next change, as and when that comes up in my life. I can take the risk. I can take a calculated risk, not just taking a risk, but I can take a planned and a calculated risk, because I know what going to a new country can be, how my initial months will look like, what should be my finances, what are the things that I should plan for, my bank accounts, planning for a school, researching for a school, driving license, buying a car, mortgage. I think all of that experience is a very good experience. I think it's very good for you as well. You've shifted a couple of countries now. It helps you as well to get the right strength, right experience, get to know a new culture, make new friends. In my time, there was no social media at times initially, but now you can make friends. You can be connected with them on Facebook, on your iPads, wherever you are. So I think that's a one big plus point. So I think that's what it is. More experience, and no more fear factor of my next move. I'm looking forward to it maybe.
Overall, how do you think your family is doing after the migration?
Well, you talked about family, so why don't you answer that question? Let me ask that to you. Anya, how are you doing with all this migration?
Well, it was hard at the start as I was only 4 years old and I had to learn to adapt this new environment so quickly. New weather, new culture, new people, new friends, new life. It was a whole new world, but an amazing one.
And then you moved to Dubai.
Yes, and I think it was so much easier because I'd already experienced all of that hustle and bustle, all the packing and then losing all my friends. But then of course I'd learned to adapt to the new country and make new ones. So I think that's how I'm doing after the migration.
Great. And what about your mom?
Well, I think the biggest challenge was for her. She had to do so many sacrifices for us as a family, and she had to quit her job and then come to this new environment and start from scratch. So I think for her, it was the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I completely agree, Anya. I think your mom did the maximum sacrifice in this overall
As a
journey
family.
as a family. I moved because I had a new job, and then I again moved because I had a new job. But while she was working in India, she had to quit her job and come with us to Singapore, settle down as a family, and then find a new job, start from scratch. Then when she was settled, then I again said, okay, we have to
Yeah.
pack our bags and move to Dubai. And she again came in here and again kind of left the job and again, tried to go through that same cycle again and again and again. Yeah, so I think it is tough for her. But a happy family is the family which stays together, celebrates together, and supports each other. So I think we're all very blessed and we're all very happy to have each other in our lives,
Indeed.
right?
Yeah. So my next question is, can you think of times when you felt unwelcomed as an immigrant? What about the times you felt welcomed?
If I think back, I don't see ever I was kind of unwelcomed. There might be times when you might feel a little bit out of place and you might get that feeling for a moment that, oh my God, I am a foreigner, I'm not in my own country. And that used to maybe happen quite a few times, in Singapore and even in Dubai, sometimes you face it. But overall, I think to answer your question, there was never a moment when you were like unwelcomed, because that's a very harsh word to use. I think people are generally very good across the planet. You be nice to them and people will be nice to you as well. So people are always helpful and they will come out and kind of help you. You just have to be nice to them. So yeah, I think I've had some good memories and I'm happy to have those memories with me.
So now for some advice. If someone you knew were planning on migrating to a new country, what would you tell them to expect and what tips would you give them?
Well, I think from expectation point of view, my simple answer to that person will be not to expect anything. The problem is when you go with expectations and when things don't match your expectations, the problem starts. Because then you think, oh, my decision was wrong or my decision was right, and all the
You should just
calculations
be open
that
to
you
all
have.
the
Yes,
things.
just go with an open mind. Do your research, and I will answer both of your questions together because you asked for some tips as well. So I would say have no expectations or very less expectations. And if you are having those expectations should not be just because it's coming out of your gut feel. Those expectations should be around your research, research. The more you research, the better prepared you are when you are going to a new country. Research around data, research around people, research around schools if you have kids,
House.
research around houses, research around transportation, right? Public transportation or buying a car or anything like that. Research around how you're going to manage your finances. You're going to a new place, your salary will start coming after a 1 month time. Maybe you husband and wife were working together, and when you're going to a new place, like in our case, right, your mama had to sit at home for some time. So your salary will actually, it's not two people earning, it's just one person earning for some time. How do you manage your finances during that time? All of that has to be, kind of think through. You have to not just think about your life. Remember, you are leaving your family behind. So if you have old parents back at home, you have to think about that as well. How can you support them? How will you
Sending some
transfer
money
money back home? If there is an emergency tomorrow at home, in India for example, how will they manage things? What are they going to do? Is there somebody whom they can call up? Have you built up that infrastructure, that arrangement at back home? So I think it's all about thinking through, planning, researching, and most importantly, just going with an open mind.
Yes.
I think that kind of just helps you, and that will be my best tip. Don't be scared. Migration is a good thing. Take that risk. Go see a new country, live in a new country,
Yes.
experience a new culture, experience new people, build new relationships, build new friends. But go with an open mind and embrace the change, embrace everything, the new culture and the new experience that you're going through.
Indeed. So thank you, Mr. Tarandeep Singh, for these interesting answers and your time.
Thank you, Anya. Thank you for having me on your show. And I must say, you know, chatting with you for the last half an hour odd, it has brought all the lovely memories that we've had together as a family in different parts of the world. And my earlier college days and youthful migration days, it's brought back all those memories to me. So thank you so much for
Thank you for
having
coming.
this discussion today with me.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching, and remember, migration isn't hard. Like my father said, don't be scared. Just go with an open mind and it'll be great. Thank you, and bye-bye.